Kevin James is back with a new comedy, and if that makes you groan, we get it. Not everyone finds the star of The King of Queens all that funny, and movies where he had the lead role, like Paul Blart Mall Cop and Zookeeper, probably didn't help his case much. His new movie, Playdate, directed by Luke Greenfield, is more of what you'd expect, and many members of its notable supporting cast, such as Chalke, Isla Fisher, Alan Tudyk, and Stephen Root, have very little to do. But before you completely dismiss this one, know that Alan Ritchson is the one to pay attention to. Playdate doesn't break any new ground, or even try to, but Ritchson, the badass hero on Reacher, is absolutely hilarious with what he has to work with. Forget action star. Alan Ritchson is destined for comedy.
What is Playdate about? In Playdate, Kevin James plays Brian Jennings, a man with so little power in his life that not even the kids he coaches on the lacrosse team show fear when it comes to disrespecting him right to his face. Brian's in a similar position as a forensics accountant, a job he's fired from by the boss's son for his refusal to cook the company's books. Rather than being a deeper look at a middle-aged man facing joblessness, there's no problem here, because Brian's wife Emily isn't worried one bit, as she has an open invitation to return to the law firm she used to work. That issue is way too easily solved. But now Brian has to be the stay-at-home dad to his stepson, Lucas, an excited kid who only wants to be happy and make his new dad feel the same way. Lucas isn't into sports one bit, but he tries for his dad and learns how to throw a football at the park. It's there that they see another quite unusual father and son pairing. Jeff and CJ fire the ball at each other with all the strength they've got, then wrestle with a tremendous amount of violence. But Jeff is a happy-go-lucky guy who quickly befriends Brian and Lucas, welcoming them back to their home. It's there where the facade begins to crack. Jeff and CJ aren't exactly who they say they are, and now with a group of men with guns after all four, Brian and Lucas are caught in the life-or-death drama of these people they just met.
Playdate is filled with lazy and over-the-top humor.
You've seen movies like Playdate before. Kevin James is the straight man as Brian, the grumpy guy who doesn't want to be involved in any of this and really isn't interested in being friends with this weird high-energy dude who just entered his life, but he's too weak to say anything. He's the bumbling everyman who pales in comparison to the bigger jock who has invaded his life, making for a buddy comedy of untraditional friends who have nothing in common. Think of something like Daddy's Home or Why Him, and you're on the right track. Except, even though those two examples aren't exactly comedy classics, Playdate barely tries at all. At just 82 minutes long, Playdate is a rushed and lazy action comedy that goes through the motions, speeding through a half-formed plot with little attention to character building outside a few dropped-in scenes. We quickly find out the twist of Playdate and who Jeff and CJ really are, but it's so silly that there's no punch behind it. It only adds to the absurdist nature of the movie, where the comedy isn't thought out or remotely smart, but where laughs are found by being as over-the-top as possible. Some of those laughs do genuinely land, but it's at the expense of any realism. These are cartoon characters in a mediocre screenplay throwing anything at the wall and happy if any of it lands. It would all completely fall apart if it wasn't for Alan Ritchson giving it his all.
Alan Ritchson keeps Playdate from being a complete mess.
Kevin James does what's asked of him as the dad thrust into a situation beyond his control. He's there to be exasperated and react to the events and little more. He should consider himself lucky, though, because most of the cast suffer an even worse fate. Benjamin Pajak is good enough as Brian's stepson, but Banks Pierce's CJ is purposely unemotional and says very little. The twist reveals why this is, but so many opportunities are missed to make him a more interesting character. Then there are the bigger names. Stephen Root is here and gone in less than 5 minutes. Chalke is only meant to be the smiling, always supportive wife who never questions anything in a few scenes. And Alan Tudyk's more villainous character is nothing but dull bad guy tropes. Isla Fisher as Leslie, the leader of a group of moms called the Mama Mafia, who all drive the same silver Honda Odyssey minivan, could have been funny, but then she completely disappears as if there was no reason for her character's existence to begin with other than a few punchlines. With Playdate being more of a family film, the action scenes and violence are tame, although one shooting scene resulting in a jarring death is weirdly overlooked so we can quickly get back to the comedy. Playdate isn't great, but Alan Ritchson carries the weight of a flop on his massive shoulders and transcends it into something at least watchable because he portrays Jeff like he's having the time of his life. Ritchson is built to be the super cool hero who can destroy everyone, and while Reacher might have some humor because of what he is capable of, it's not a comedy. In Playdate, however, Ritchson plays every single scene with gusto as a guy who might be a jacked military veteran, but also doesn't have much going on upstairs. He's like an excited puppy, completely clueless and bouncing around and full of joy. Jeff might think a forensic accountant has something to do with dead people, and he's never serious even when it gets irritating, but he is likable no matter what, because Alan Ritchson is really trying in a movie that otherwise doesn't. Watching Ritchson in Playdate can't help but make you think of John Cena, another muscle-bound action star who can play the goofy guy with ease. Cena had better watch out because Alan Ritchson is impressive at comedy and could be coming after the WWE star's roles. Playdate is a non-threatening, forgettable movie. You won't remember it next week, and it doesn't want you to because it's just more disposable content. But you won't forget Alan Ritchson. If he can make crap entertaining, imagine him in a comedic role with a much better script. Playdate is now available to stream on Prime Video.